Hi, how are you? I'm Mr. Muso. Today we want to talk about European history. We want to talk about the unification of Italy. Make sure that your pen and your notebook is close to you. Here is our question for today. Discuss Piedmont's role in Italy's progress towards unification in the period about Piedmont's role in the unification of Italy from 1848 to 1870. What role did Piedmont play towards the unification of Italy? So that is what we want to talk about here. So let's underline the keywords. So here we are discuss. We are talking about Piedmont's role, then we are talking about the unification, then we are talking about the period 1848 to 1870. What was the role that was played by Piedmont? Did it play a significant role in the unification of Italy? So we are going to divide our question into two parts. We are going to talk about the role that was played by Piedmont. Then on the other side of the question, we talk about the other countries that were also responsible, that also played a pivotal role in the unification of Italy. The other countries such as Britain, such as also France, such as Prussia, are playing a significant role in the unification of Italy. So that is how we are going to answer our question. Let's start with Piedmont. Piedmont played an important role in the unification of Italy. We see that when Cavour came to power, he realized that the first thing that he was supposed to do, it was to improve, it was to revive Piedmont. How was Piedmont going to be revived? It was supposed to be revived economically and also politically. So let's start with the economical ways that were done by Cavour to revive Piedmont. So we see that Cavour had to start industrialization. Industrialization, it was started, industries were set up, companies were set up, factories were set up, and that on its own led Piedmont to be in a position of manufacturing different products or different commodities. These products that were manufactured, they were sold to other countries, they were exported to other countries. This brought foreign currency. Bringing foreign currency, it led the economy to be revived. It led the economy to thrive. So that was the first step that was taken by Cavour, reviving the economy of Italy. When that took place now, the Italian money, the Italian lira, it gained value. So when it gained value, inflation, it was swept aside. Inflation, it was done away with. And that on its own, it led Italy to be on a sound economical footing. That explains why Italy was in a position to be unified. It was because of reviving the economical environment in Piedmont. Added to that now, roads were set up, new roads were started, new roads were tarred, rail lines, they were also set up, telecommunication, it was set up, hello, people could communicate, business people could communicate using telephone lines. That was important. Why? It is because it what revived again the economy of the country. So we see this are being done by Cavour, and that on its own led people to get confidence, to have confidence in their government. Explain why later on Piedmont was a champion, was a leader towards the unification of Italy. Why? It is because Italy was now on a sound economical footing. It was on a sound economical basis because of industrialization that had been started by Cavour. Then militarily or politically, we see that Cavour also had to revive the army. How was the army revived? We see that they were now well paid, they were now well trained, they were now well equipped, they were now well clothed. That on its own led the soldiers to be motivated, since they were now getting enough salaries, since they were now getting enough monies, since they were now having lumo, they were now having enough food, since they were now well trained, well clothed. So that on its own led the soldiers to be eager to fight for the Italian cause, bringing together Italian states so that the unification was going to be a reality, the unification was going to be a possibility. So that again assisted greatly to unite, to bring the unification of Italy. So we see that industries, as they were started, they also started to manufacture with different weapons, different ammunitions that were going to be used by these soldiers to unify Italy. So that on its own was a great step that was taken by Cavour, and it really assisted in the journey towards the unification of Italy. So we see Piedmont playing a significant role, Piedmont playing an important role in the unification of Italy. Why? It was because of reviving the economy. It was because of reviving the political environment that was in Piedmont. Now that this was done, what happened now? Let's now talk about the other side of the of the question. We now talk about the countries that were also responsible for the unification of Italy. Let's start with Britain. Britain was responsible for the unification of Italy. Why? It is because when the Crimean War started, Piedmont, Italy, entered this war on the side of Britain. When she entered this war on the side of Britain after the war, we see that at the Paris Peace Conference, Britain sympathized with what? With Italy, sympathized with Cavour, and by so doing now, that sympathy was so important, it led to the unification of Italy. Why? It is because Britain wanted Italy to be unified. She sympathized with the cause that she wanted Italian states to be brought together, thereby completing, making the unification a reality, making the unification a possibility. So we see Britain also playing an important part in the unification of Italy. Not only that, now you move on also talking about the sailing of Garibaldi in Naples and Sicily. It was Britain who assisted Garibaldi to sail to Naples and Sicily. So we are seeing again Britain playing an important part in the unification of Italy. Then we move on, we talk about France. France also played an important part in the unification of Italy. We see that France had to collaborate with Cavour, and when they collaborated with Cavour, they attacked Austria at the Battle of Solferino, again at the Battle of Mantega, although France later on withdrew from this battle. But that on its own, that assistance, it was necessary, it was important, and that also led to the unification of of Italy. It is because France played an important part in assisting Italy to fight against Austria, to regain, to retake those areas that were in Austria, that yet Italian-speaking people, that yet Italian people. So that was significant. So France also played an important part in the journey towards the unification of of Italy. Then we also see that France was also significant. Why do we say so? It is because she assisted Italy to get some areas that were closer to here. That on its own, it was significant, and it led again to the unification of Italy. Then we move on. We also talk about another country in the name of Prussia. Prussia was also significant. Why? It is because we see Bismarck meeting with Cavour, and when they met now, we see that he promised Cavour that if he remained neutral in a war against Austria, she was going to be given Venetia. So by so doing now, we see Cavour assisting, we see Cavour remaining neutral in the war between Austria and Prussia. And after the war, Prussia won the war, and we see being given Venetia. So we see Prussia playing an important part in the unification of of Italy. So Prussia also played a significant part in the unification of of Italy. This was significant. So what are we saying? We are saying that Piedmont, it played a significant role in the unification of of Italy, but other countries, they were also significant. Other countries were also important. They also played a significant role towards the unification of Italy. That is how we answer this question. Thank you so much. I'm Mr. Muso.